and true from Tuesday 9:30 on BBC One.
Welcome back. Our first flat racing of 1993 takes us to Haydock Park, 3 from the card, but first let's join Julian Wilson.
Well, it didn't take long for the first major upset of the 1993 flat race season to manifest itself. That happened at Maison Lafitte on Wednesday when the winter favourite for the 2,000 guineas, Zafonic, was beaten at 10-1 on in the prevail. Well, of the 4 runners there, one of them, Kashani, was designed to be pacemaker for Zafonic, but I'm afraid the race was a complete muddle. When they jumped off, Kashani on the rails quickly went 6 lengths clear, while Pat Eddery was busy getting Zafonic on the outside under restraint. When they'd gone 2.5 furlongs, Tereshani on the pacemaker slowed right up so that Zafonic was back in touch. As they came to halfway, the tempo just picked up a little bit there, and Pat, as you can see, just asking his mount to quicken as the whole field quickened. Then, as they came towards the 2 furlong marker, the pace really quickened up, and Zafonic here just started to get stuck in the mud, and it was Cash Asmussen's mount, King Mambo, in the centre, and Kashani, who looked the stronger, going to the last furlong. In fact, they take a length out of Zafonic. Now, when Pat really asked his mount, he just starts to pick up again, going inside the last furlong, but then, with about 50 yards to go, Pat accepts it, he drops his hands just here, and in the end, incredibly, was only beaten a short head. Some people felt that Pat had perhaps dropped his hands a little bit prematurely. The stewards did in fact inquire into that, but they accepted Pat's explanation that the horse had given everything. Well, despite that, which I think you've got to put down to the ground, it was very, very sticky ground there indeed, 4.4 on the register. Zafonic remains favourite for the 2,000 guineas. The ground's going to be very, very different at Newmarket. Well, after the first race, we'll be paying tribute to the great Peter Scudamore, but here at Haydock, it's a glorious spring day. The going is soft after almost an inch of rain in the past 36 hours, but we're set for a really lively start to our flat racing coverage 1993. The first race we cover is the Cheadle Hume Condition Stakes. 5 runners, Peter O'Sullivan.
Yes, it's over an extended 2 miles on soft ground, and 1 is Crystal Spirit, ridden by Michael Hills. 2 is Farsi, Willie Ryan. 3, French Ivy, Kieran Fallon. 4, Jack Button, Nigel Day. And 5 is Northern Rarity, on which David Nichols is putting up 1 pound overweight. Those are the 5 runners for this Cheadle Hume Condition Stakes. Here's how they bet.
And Jack Button is the target for most punters. 11-10 on favourite. Crystal Spirit 100-30. Farsi 7-2. French Ivy 12s, and Northern Rarity the 14-1 outsider.
I think the going is going to be the key factor here, and the one horse who really does like the soft ground is Jack Button, and he's a fit horse. And these are the new arrangements for recalling horses. The recall men now have to wear white jackets. There are 2 here today, and one of them, not this one, is Ken Evans. So all credit to him. He lives at Wigan, and he's back in harness again just 7 days after that awful day at Liverpool. Here is Jack Button, who finished 3rd to snowboard in his reappearance at Doncaster, and had 2 others of these behind him, Farsi and French Ivy, so he's fit and he handles the ground.
I agree, Julian. He looked very well in the paddock, as you can see there. You can just see his trace clip mark, actually, so he's losing his winter coat to go into his summer coat. He's got a lovely sheen on him, and that form at Doncaster behind snowboard is very good, because I know that Barry Hills thinks a lot of that stayer, and I think we'll be hearing a lot of snowboard as the season goes on. And this horse looks well. Jack Button loves the ground. For me, he's going to take all the beating.
And there is Ken Evans enjoying the spring sunshine and hoping, no doubt, that he won't be called upon today. But as you can see, he's got a whopping great red flag there. Good luck to him. This is Farsi. Farsi finished 10 lengths behind Jack Button in that race at Doncaster. He makes Jack Button on 8 pound better terms. Good staying horse, Chester Cup type of horse, but he's always been a better horse on good ground.
Talking to Reg Hollinshead just before the first, he thinks he'll go very well. He's a bit frightened of the ground. He thinks the ground might be a bit too soft for him today, but was very pleased with him at Doncaster. Said he's a fitter horse now and should run a big race despite the going.
The fittest horse in the field is probably Crystal Spirit, who's had 2 or 3 recent runs over hurdles. He finished third to Sweet Duke at Ascot 10 days ago. But once again, he is a horse who's better on good ground, although he did win over this course as a 3-year-old when there was a bit of cut in the ground.
Yes, I agree with you. I think he needs the fast ground to bring out his very best, but he has showed a bit of form on the soft ground over hurdles. But I'm just wondering, he looked well enough in the paddock, but he was beaten a long way at Cheltenham over hurdles. If he's back to his best, another one that's got a chance.
Michael Hills there, wearing the colours of Mr. Paul Mellon. This is a race over 2 miles. They're all in? Yes, Peter.
That's it. And they're running. Quite a steady pace in the early stages. French Ivy dropped out behind the other 4, and Crystal Spirit taking him along in the early stages. Crystal Spirit from the grey Farsi. And then the 3 times course winner, Jack Button. French Ivy, the back marker. Crystal Spirit from Northern Rarity. In fact, on the rail and just on the outside, Jack Button, Farsi, and French Ivy. So they come up to the winning post on the first circuit with Crystal Spirit and Michael Hills taking him along from Northern Rarity. Then Jack Button, Farsi, and French Ivy. Going quite a good even pace now in this rain-softened ground at Haydock, where they race over towards the far side with Crystal Spirit fit from hurdling, the leader from Northern Dynasty, winner of a couple of National Hunt Flat races at Southwell and Catterick, former inmate of Luca Kumani, Northern Rarity I should say, and then Jack Button, the 3 times course winner, Farsi, and French Ivy. Still Crystal Spirit from Northern Rarity and Jack Button. Farsi close to Jack Button and French Ivy. In the same order for a while now, Crystal Spirit from Northern Rarity, Jack Button, Farsi, and French Ivy. Racing towards the far end of the course now, at about 6.5 furlongs to run in this Cheadle Hume condition stakes, and still Crystal Spirit making it from Northern Rarity. Jack Button on the outside of Farsi, and then French Ivy. Racing out of the top turn, Crystal Spirit, Northern Rarity and Jack Button, Farsi and French Ivy. Beginning the turn into the home straight now, and on this rain-softened ground, it'll be interesting to see whether they make their way over towards the stand side. A frequent ploy here on soft ground, and yes, they're coming right over. Crystal Spirit being pushed along now by Michael Hills towards the left, being chased by Northern Rarity. Jack Button being chased up now on the outside under Nigel Day, but Crystal Spirit still holding quite a commanding advantage as they come down past the 3-pole. Crystal Spirit from Jack Button moving up on the outside now to come and challenge. Crystal Spirit on the near side, Jack Button on the outside. Jack Button takes the advantage now from Crystal Spirit as they race towards the furlong pole. Jack Button, Crystal Spirit, and then Northern Rarity. Farsi not getting into it at all. He clearly doesn't appreciate this ground. And the 3-time course winner looking like making it 4 times as Jack Button goes away from Crystal Spirit, and they race up towards the line. Jack Button from Crystal Spirit. And Jack Button is going to win the Cheadle Hume Condition Stakes very easily from Crystal Spirit. Jack Button the winner. Crystal Spirit is second. Close for third, with Farsi just getting up to be third ahead of Northern Rarity. And last was French Ivy. And so the result of the Cheadle Hume Condition Stakes, first number 4, Jack Button, owned by A&B Racing, trained by Bob Jones and ridden by Nigel Day. Second was number 1, Crystal Spirit, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Michael Hills. And third, number 2, Farsi, owned by Mr. John Bauer, trained by Reg Hollinshead and ridden by Willie Ryan, with fourth, number 5, Northern Rarity. So a fourth course triumph for Jack Button, number 6, victory number 6 in 20 races for him.
Crystal Spirit seems to act well enough on the ground until he comes off the bit, and that's when he tends to lose his action, and as you can see, he drifts away from the rail here. Meanwhile, Jack Button, relentlessly making headway in the centre of the course, gradually wore down his rival, and from here on, he always had the whip hand.
He looked well in the paddock, I thought, Julian. He looked well going into the final furlong here, too. Nigel Dade was always biding his time. I think he knows this horse very well. He won on him here in this type of ground last season. When he picks him up, as you can see, he lengthens well. Where is Crystal Spirit, as you say, coming off the bridle for Michael Hills, just looks over his right shoulder to keep second place. But when he does ask him to go, he flounders a little bit. He's got a long, extravagant stride. He just fills the ground. But as you can see there, Jack Button loves it.
So fifth winner of this pristine season for Nigel Day, number 4 for Bob Jones, a fourth course victory for Jack Button, and the starting prices as follows.
First, number 4, Jack Button, 11 to 10 on favourite. Second, number 1, Crystal Spirit, 3 to 1. Third, number 2, Farsi, 4 to 1. All 5 ran.